I redecorate. It's more difficult.
The general elections in 2023 have created conversations and consequences that will live with us for years to come. From the executive to the judiciary, legislature, media, and the people, organized labor, and civil society organizations, issues that will continue to shape the future of our country needs continuous probing and interrogation.
I see the greater objective for the party, and let me tell you, I've told the PDP in some locations that, gentlemen, be careful. Better men have founded parties that have gone into oblivion. Where's the party of Awolowo? Where's the party of Azikwe? Where's PRP of Rimi? Political parties must be nurtured, they must be reinvented, they must be true to their own
Ōʔpēyẹmí and Said Fuad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday 1 to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM for thought-provoking conversations, voices from the top, engaging interviews, in-depth analysis on all matters around politics, policies and governance. Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, bringing the right perspectives to everything politics.
Politics now big business.
Beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Welcome to Midweek Politics, live on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Well, I want to believe your day has been going well so far. We're in Nigeria, so it depends on what side of the divide you're operating from. Last week Wednesday on the show, one of the very interesting and there's so much to talk about on the show today. This program comes up on the airwaves every Wednesday rather, from 1 to 3 p.m. I almost said every day of the week. That has to be the situation room from 4 to 5:30, live on Mainland 98.3 FM. Well, first off, let me apologize for however way I'm going to sound on the show today. The last few days had really been tough for my health, but we've got to do it. The show's got to go on. So we're here to give you everything you need to know about issues, political conversations beyond the surface. That's what stands at this program out. Beyond what you read on your regular news outlets, your newspaper, your social media handles, even from the regular news you get to hear, I will take the conversation way beyond the surface so that you understand the nitty-gritties of this situation, the players, the stakeholders, the interest people amongst the opinion makers, the movers and the shakers of whatever story we're picking. That's always what we focus on every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. 20 minutes straight, no break, no adverts. And on the turn of 2 o'clock rather, I would always open the phone lines for you to join the conversation. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM, and on X, formerly Twitter, it's Mainland FM, and on Instagram and YouTube, it's Mainland 98.3 FM. You're welcome. My name is Ōʔpēyẹmí, and I will be alongside for I'll take you through some of the issues that we have to discuss in details on the show today. Well, we've got so much to look at. News said that Mr. President is back in the country after a 2 weeks or 14 days absence. Well, we asked all of these fundamental questions in the course of the week. How long does the president need to stay out of the country before Nigerians start speculating? He went to the Netherlands, and from the Netherlands he crossed over to Saudi. Nigerians don't have an idea of where the president of the nation was, and it would have been worse actually if the vice president also that was supposed to represent the president in Dallas at the US Africa Business Summit. I mean, it will have been, I don't know. We'll talk about all of these things on the show today. Good enough that the president is back, but the question would always be, what happens to the people managing the information of Mr. President? It's always been a problem, almost chaotic situation. Issues will happen, and the Nigerians are left with vacuum of information. And you know, the conspiracy theories will always fill it in. Oh, this is why, this is why. And I would always say it, information management is key in every aspect of our lives, whether you operate in the organized private sector or in the public sector. People want to know what is happening and why these things are happening. Side forward, it's another Wednesday, and our table is actually full. We've got so much to talk about. We talked Rivers State. In the last maybe 2 months, the Rivers State House of Assembly has vetoed about 4 laws made by the governor of the state, and the governor seems to be blowing really hot right now. We don't know if it's a dance of shame, if it's a show of force. We'll break all of these things down today. We'll also have an audio or where the governor is spitting, yes, tough, and it makes me just wonder the conversation around the state police. If the governor can say so much of that about a constitutionally assembled House of Assembly, democratically elected members of the assembly, and the governor could say they are there because of me or because I allowed them to be there. You get to hear all of those soundbites on the show today. But aside for your status seems to be the first point of call when I wake up in the morning. There's always something to look into, there's always something to screenshot, there's always information being thrown out. What had been the consumption level for you in the last 2 weeks in terms of things you've brought in, things you've taken in, and things you've had to sieve out? Talk to us and welcome to the show again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Opremi. It's nice to be on the show this afternoon, really. Not one of the days you really want to, talk too much about the challenges of the country.
But we have to.
But again, sometimes you have to just psych yourself up, get to do the job, even though you are not in the best of moods, really, to begin to talk about the barrage of issues, the number of issues Nigerians have to go through. And when we say Nigerians, we're also Nigerians too. That's the funny thing, we talk about these things, we give information out, we have to follow the news, we have to aggregate the news, and of course, create meaningful perspectives from the news as they break. But the reality is that, look, whatever Nigerians are going through at this time, we also face the same challenges. You just talked to me about what we have to really put out as a person. Again, a friend shared with me his own personal experience, actually one of my guys, and what he said was that, look, this electricity tariff thing, people don't know the implications. It's like, for those who are not on that tariff, they may not really know to the extent at which that can actually kill businesses, or even individuals would have to really cough out hard-earned money to pay that tariff. And he gave me a practical example of where I mean that, look, before the band AO thing, it does 100,000, because again it's like multiple apartments all put together, so they do 100,000 every month, and that gives them 1,210 units of electricity. But now that band A has been, band B and all of these things have been introduced at the new tariff, from just 100,000 now gives them 412 units.
From 1,210 I dropped to
400.
That's not even up to half
of what they used to get before this introduction. And what he's telling me is that, look, it's unsustainable. There's no way they're going to be able to cope. And that's the story of a lot of Nigerians who operate businesses and would have to face the consequence of that tariff hike. There have been a marginal drop in the tariff. I think about 8% has been moved from the over 240 something percent of increment. But again, what does that? What really does that do? What help does it give to Nigerians who have to cough monies out for that? I'll give you my own practical example of where in the past, in a month, I used to do like about 100,000 naira to fuel my car. Let me just put it that way. and that's a month budget really. You know, we want to move around that. But now, the minimum I do is around 250,000 naira a month. You understand what I'm saying? And I know how killing that is for me. I know how that affects my monthly budget, how it affects even food at home. Okay, I know what when I say food, and I'm talking food really. That again is made difficult or made worse by the fact that, look, whatever I was doing for home keep, like, you know, every week, this is what I drop for the family for staple food and all of that, has also gone up by almost over 300%. You know, so if you used to do maybe 50,000 in a week before, now you have to do like 150,000 naira, because they will tell you that, look, a kilo of chicken that used to sell for like 3,000
is now about 6,000,
7,000 naira. A turkey that used to be maybe around 3,000, 3,500.
That's if it's even available.
That's even so egg. You know, they tell you. A sachet of Milo, beverage, the chocolate beverage and all of that. So I don't know, and you know, it was not so surprising, when last week when the CBN governor now said that, look, the government palliative economy is even making inflation worse. I'm like, you know, is there a disconnect between the monetary policy of this government that is being spearheaded and championed by the CBN and the fiscal policy of the government? Because if there's no synergy really, we're going to be in serious mess. And I think that's where we are now. Things are tough for Nigerians, and in all of this mess, in all of this crisis, as we continue to talk about it, we are now inundated again with multiple taxes and levies. That's one big thing Nigerians have been talking about, and these levies are coming. They keep coming. People have talked about widening the tax net. The tax reforms committee, when they were inaugurated some few months ago, I said that, look, what they wanted to do was to consolidate, you know, bring together some of these multiple taxes to make it more meaningful, and then of course widen the tax net. And we need to clear it up, that widening the tax net does not mean introducing new taxes or levies. Widening the tax net is to ensure that people that should be paying taxes who are not paying are now paying, and nobody can go against that really, because again, although there are questions as to where, for those that are even paying, what do we do with the monies? But again, it's just normal that we have to get more people to pay taxes. All of those waivers, people who evade taxes and all of that, widen the net to capture, bring in more people.
Not to bring up a multiple tax regime for the people.
So it's difficult really, it's difficult really. And as we speak at this time, the Minister of Finance, again, is in the news just some few hours ago, who is saying that, look, they are now looking at tax incentives to also revitalize the economy. And they are introducing new taxes. We are talking about tax incentives. Again, I think that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu government needs to really sit down. Luckily, there will be 1 year in a few days time. I think they need to do what I call proper retrospect, you know, proper analysis, a review of their performance, and tell themselves the truth. Maybe the media will not help them, or they may not even believe what is coming out of the media. They feel the media is too critical of government activities. You understand what I'm saying? They may not even listen to ordinary Nigerians who had voted them in to better their lives in government. But maybe they can listen to themselves if they are ready to tell themselves the truth. If you understand what I'll beg the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we welcome him back to the country, even though there are still questions as to, you know, the way he goes out of the country for official functions and then suddenly disappears, and then for days we don't know the whereabouts of the president. The last time, the only information we got, Dr. Emi, was I went for a private visit. You know, this time there was even no information at all, until the fact that it was now said by Dᴏɪᴜ that he'll be back today and that he'll be coming back from Europe. Again, a lot that we're going to talk about on that, but I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to look at his inner circle, look at his so-called consultants, ministers, people around him, and ask himself one vital question: what would be my legacy after this presidency when I'm gone?
Well, in case people don't understand, individually, I'm going to read out something to you, and that's the charges you pay on your account individually.
That's if you don't know.
In case you don't know. In case you use the USSD code to make transactions, you are being charged for that. Outflow and inflow fees, that means if you credit an account, the sender pays, the receiver also pays. There's the VAT on SMS. For every SMS you send, there's a VAT on it. There's SMS also. That's for for there's stamp duties, there's value added tax, there's card issuance and card maintenance every month. My card is in my wallet, but I'm paying the bank for maintaining my card. And when the card get missing, I get charged over 1,000 naira to get another card. Well, it's also there. There's a transfer fee for every transaction you make. You also have to, you get taxed on that. Now there's the cyber security levy, 0.5% of value, and that's crazy. In the last 48 hours, I've taken my time to really sit and look at the cyber security act. And one of the things that got up is that if they said the act or the cyber levy is going to the office of the NSA, I'm asking, just like JAMB, is the office of the NSA a revenue generating office? It's supposed to be national security advisor in charge of all of the security agencies, all of the service chiefs and all of that. But now the NSA is supposed to generate money. Well,
generate, keep, and then spend money and manage money.
It takes us back to the administration of the current president when he was the governor of Lagos.
That's it.
Events often make you to go back and read or focus on some of the things you absolutely ignored over time. And all of this had made me to go back and check the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he was the executive governor of Lagos
2007,
State. The spread, the tax, and all of that. And it just takes us back to me now going back again to read the renewed hope policy document that was released to Nigerians. Side forward, I think since after the 2023 election, Nigerians will now begin to understand that when politicians put statements in the public domain, we just don't look at them as propaganda. I'm sure a lot of people didn't read whether renewed hope document by the president, the one Atiku Abubakar dropped, the one Peter Obi dropped. I'm sure a lot of people never read some of those things. And you start asking, in a country where we have over 100 million people living below poverty line, in a country where the workforce in the country is never up to 11.3% of the entire population, the people on statutory salaries, and some of these people are already being taxed, and then you now brought in the cyber. See, before we look into that, there was a defense on this issue of the cyber security, and it was an interview that was granted by Honorable Aliyu Gebi. He's a security expert. I'll play it, and then we'll also look at this from his own point of view. He's talking about the security at the banks, and it's even worse side forward that some of the financial institutions that we have in this country does not give the people the confidence to bank with them. There's a certain bank that I use, and for almost 72 hours now, it's been problem on problem. You make transaction, is hanged. And I was talking to a colleague yesterday after the show. I said, what if there's a glitch, a security glitch, or there's a cyber attack on the account of Nigerians? How long will it take some of these financial institutions to rectify this issue when you've had almost 3 days and you've constantly denied the people access to their monies? These are issues that need to be talked about. Let me play this insert. It's a soundbite from Honorable Aliyu Gebi. He's a security expert, like I said, and he's trying to bring up a justification for the reason why the cyber security levy should stay. Meanwhile, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry are kicked against the imposition of the cyber security levy, and they are saying, hey, if the central bank should reverse that decision, it's a lot to deal with for Nigerians. Take a listen to this soundbite, and when we come back, we'll also talk about it. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM, and this is Midweek Politics.
The intent of the bill is right. The time is ripe. Is the time ripe for other things? Now, this is a question that should be asked, but is the time ripe for us to fully operationalize our Cybersecurity Act and the Cybercrime Act of 2015 as amended? Yes, it is. And again, we don't do a good job of communication. This is our problem. We don't communicate strategically. When the superhighway in Lagos started, again, there was a lot of uproar. Again, because there was no strategic communications, people did not understand what is happening or the value they will get eventually when it happens. Now we have an NSA who is playing the role that an NSA should be playing, which is coordinating the security agencies and ensuring that anything that poses a security threat to the nation is dealt with. I ask you again, every single day, How many young people do you see EFCC parading for Yahoo, aka cybercrime? Too many. The porosity cannot be comprehended because we assume we are secure. If Nigerian banks were to open up to how much money they've been losing through cybercrime, perhaps everybody will run to take their money out because you realize that your monies are not safe. And this is not something that a country can implement in isolation. The most powerful countries in the world get hacked almost on a daily basis. The hackers evolve, your security policy and protocols have also to evolve to counter. So for me, is the timing right? The timing has been right and ripe for a very, 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 very long time. The methodology of the implementation perhaps could have been better. The communication strategy could have been better. And again, the beauty of participatory democracy here, when you and I, we have representatives at the local government, at the state level, and at the federal. Let those who we have voted in to represent us gauge our temperature and ask for perhaps postponement, deferment, or perhaps to ask for more explanation. What we should be asking for really is about oversight. How is that money going to be spent? Who oversights that money? What layers of the cybersecurity spectrum will that money be spent on? What is the recourse? I'm sure the lawyer will talk about this. If my money gets taken away from me, or if I get perhaps threatened, or if I get blackmailed by cyber criminals, how do I get, or how do I seek recourse? Then lastly, don't forget there are nation states in this world that have fine-tuned cyber criminality to become a weapon of mass destruction. Some rogue states use cyber criminal acts in developing nations like ours with weak oversight, with weak security protocols, to steal our money without us even knowing that our monies have been stolen. How many times do you receive bank alerts? This has been debited, that has been debited. As long as it is below a certain threshold, you don't really care, because those who even bank are the bankable. The unbankables actually outnumber the bankables by a number staggering to even mention.
Here is easy to bring normalcy and redecorate. It's more difficult.
The general elections in 2023 have created conversations and consequences that will live with us for years to come. From the executive to the judiciary, legislature, media, and the people, organized labor, and civil society organizations, issues that will continue to shape the future of our country needs continuous probing and interrogation.
I see the greater objective for the party, and let me tell you, I've told the PDP in some locations that, gentlemen, be careful. Better men have founded parties that have gone into oblivion. Where's the party of Awolowo? Where's the party of Azikwe? Where's PRP of Rimi? Political parties must be nurtured, they must be reinvented, they must be true to
Join
their own
ᴏᴜᴇᴜ and Said Fuad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday 1 to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM for thought-provoking conversations, voices from the top, engaging interviews, in-depth analysis on all matters around politics, policies and governance. Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, bringing the right perspectives to everything politics.
Politics now big business.
Welcome back. That was Honorable Aliyu Gebi justifying why Nigerians should embrace the I've always been of the opinion that Nigerian consumers seems to be the most abused in the world. Side forward, you would have data on your phone, you won't be able to have access to internet. You would have money in your bank,
And there are no
you won't be able to use the apps. You pay for electricity, whether you're in bank A or bank W or you're an abandoned bank, you still won't get a supply of it. It's so bad that way. You order for things online, they deliver an absolutely different from what you order online, and nobody's being held responsible for that. You go to the bank, the services are not even available. You go to the airport, you want to travel, you have an urgent meeting to attend, the airline will cancel your flight, they will delay your flight, there won't be an official statement, no compensation, no explanation, and ultimately no consequences for some of these things. So it looks like it's a place where, just like you're feeding, you're throwing food to the dogs, you just give them a steak, whatever it is you want to do, just deal with it. There's a question I've always asked people, and I'm going to ask you the same question today. Do you think the Nigerian government is taking advantage of the resilience that Nigerians have? And this is what I mean. As at Monday evening, I bought a liter of petrol for 840 naira, not black market, regular fuel station, 840.
Those are the part of the states where we are buying the fuel
And
from.
the NNPC Limited said we have about 1.5 billion liters in reserve that will last us for the next 1 month. There is information gap. The presidency is not addressing Nigerians why we're buying fuel for that price. So there are speculations. Oh, the refineries in Singapore is being serviced or maintained. Oh, the price of these want to come down. Do you think the government is taking advantage of the resilience of Nigeria? Because they know that we'll adapt. When fuel was going for 1,001, side for you and I saw a video where people were fighting at a filling station to buy that fuel for that price.
Well, look, let me first address the honorable that said a whole lot of things. I think one of the things he also agreed to was that, look, there's a problem with information management. People are not well informed. But it would have been nice to educate the honorable. Again, this is one honorable member, I'm sure, got a 160 million naira vehicle.
Yes.
When Nigerians got nothing. I'm sure he also has huge salaries, ESTA codes, allowances. I'm sure he's gotten all the largesse of office. So I'm not surprised that he's detached completely from the reality of ordinary Nigerians. It's just the way it is. So it's easy for him to go on saying all he's saying. Oh, it's nothing. This is the time to do it. Like I said, Nigerians are suffering. They are taking care of themselves. The sacrifice is not even there for any of them. Because, like I said, I'm sure he also got the 160 million naira vehicle largesse that they got when they had not even done anything in office. If you understand what I'm saying, Okwemi. Now, when you talk about information management and information gap that comes from deliberate actions of government not to properly inform the people is misinformation and disinformation. You understand what I'm saying? Because why is there information gap? The 2015 Cyber Crime Act has been there since 2015. It was amended in 2024. The question is this: when that act was to be amended, to create room for this implementation and introduction of this cyber security act levy, how many public hearings was
conducted
to now inform the people? The members of the National Assembly, did they go back to their constituents? Did they have town hall meetings to really explain to people that, look, this is one thing we need to do? Look, this was almost secretly and already done. The amendment, it was even media people could not even remember when the amendment was. It was done this year. This year the amendment was done, and if you see, the amendment was done deliberately to accommodate these things, and it was already passed and assented to by the president. And
there are other very pressing laws that have not been assented to.
So what I'm saying is that, look, if you say
these rather,
are we the ones that will manage information from them? These are guys that when you even try to bring them in to ask them questions,
they don't pick. They don't respond.
We know what we go through to even get some of them to speak to Nigerians. And that's why I'm saying that, look, the information gap is deliberate, and since it is deliberate, it is misinformation. They are happy to get Nigerians misinformed. They are happy to get Nigerians disinformed, so that there's that information vacuum. But again, the danger of all of this is this: they now leave room for Nigerians to speculate, to begin to now fill the void with all manner of things. You just told me something now on social media. Now we now see people throwing up different defense, coming up with different things. Social media influencers. Reno Mokri has been busy. I think that one needs a job somewhere. Defending the indefensible. It's understandable. Like my psychologist told me over the weekend, these guys can't remain in the political dark for too long. They just have to be within the corridors of power. So when they want to switch gear, when they want to switch camps and things, what they do is to begin to speak as if the amount, so we see all that and we understand, the hustling. The hustling is real, if you understand what I'm saying, and it's big too. It's big business for these guys. They can't just be out of government, so they begin to rationalize all manner of nonsense on social media and put all manner of narratives outside. I'll tell you something, what they have been saying, a lot of them, is that, look, it's not a new thing. Oh, the cyber security levy, and so many taxes also exist in developed climes. But the reality of the UK, is it the same reality as that of
that we have in Nigeria?
You understand? What is the minimum wage in the UK, for example? What is the the quality of life of the average person living in those countries that pay all of these levies compared to that of Nigeria. And the sad part of Okwemi is that, look, when they want to justify the misbehavior of government, when they want to justify some of these harsh policies, you understand, on the Nigerian people, they are quick to cite examples of, it's also existing in the US, it exists in the UK and other developed societies. But when you call them out for not doing the right thing and you cite standards in those other countries, you say, they've been there for 100 years, why are you comparing them to America? So double standards. So when you want to justify your harsh policies, the Western world is the standard. But when we say, why are you not giving Nigerians,
what those ones over there are enjoying?
You say no, you can't be comparing us with America now. So you see the hypocrisy, you see the double standard. But for me, Okwemi, like you asked, is the government taking advantage of the fact that Nigerians are so accepting of everything that comes to them? Because we are very tolerant. That's why I think we are rated as one of the happiest people in the world. Because Nigerians would always just suck it in. We take it, they bring this one, we just take it like that. We don't ask questions. It keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. I don't be surprised that Nigerians on social media are even making memes out of all of this. They are making comic reliefs out of it. People have learned to just move on.
We've quickly degenerated to the point where we trivialize important issues. People make skits about it. People make comic about it, and then issues that affect Nigerians, even issues that affect people that don't even have access to the internet, issues that affect people that can barely look for what to put in their mouth every day, is being made. Jokes are being made out of it. At the end of the day, side forward, Nigerians would ask all of these fundamental questions. Did we make any decision? Did we get it right with our political options? So when people talk about election have consequences, what do they mean? Is there a long sentimental lines? Did I make my political choice because of my religious bias? Did I make my political decisions because of my tribal sentiment? Did I make my political decisions because of my party affiliation? Or I voted based on the fact that these individuals have the capacity, have the capability, have the competence to deliver basic dividends of democracy? Every single day, side forward, there's one story somewhere, and I'm beginning to ask, if the CBN governor is making up trial and error with all of these policies, what happened to the economic team of the president? Do they sit down to review some of these things? I'm a Nigerian. The minimum wage cannot even buy me half bag of rice, and so I'm still going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to be charged.
Call it whatever name. Your money is to go.
You want to defend.
It is still taxed. We are still dealing with that. The consequences are still there for us to see. And after there being the effect of those interventions, if there is really any, can we really say that the government has been able to properly intervene to cushion the effect of subsidy removal? We are still dealing with that. The second one is the forest crisis, Okwemi. We are still there. The government came in a year ago, $1 to a naira was around 750 naira, if I get my figures right. Today, at the parallel market, we are doing about 1,450. The dollar crisis is still a huge burden on Nigerians, especially because of the impact it's having on imported goods, on manufacturers, and what have you. You understand what I'm saying? Prescription drugs have gone through the roof, and all of that. So that is also having serious consequences because of how poorly the government has managed the so-called unification of the foreign exchange market. As we speak today, it was supposed to be a unification of 2 markets, but now we have about 4 existing side by side, all with different figures and what have you. So that's also still there that Nigerians are dealing with. Okay, import duty. I think in the Guardian newspaper today it's been reported that, look, more than 4,000 containers have been abandoned because importers cannot even clear their goods. A lot of them have been there for too long that the demurrage has gone too high, and I feel like, look, it doesn't even make sense for me to go clear these containers. So they are there abandoned because, again, in the aggressive revenue drive of government, import duties have gone through the roof. Importers are complaining. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria, that a used car is now more expensive than what we used to buy for a Tokumbo car. In those days, if you remember, I'm sorry, 1 minute. You remember that they will say that, look, if you buy a car, then immediately you drive it, it depreciates in value. You remember when you used to give that analogy that in fact car is not an asset in Nigeria. Immediately you buy a car, you drive it out to the garage, it starts to depreciate immediately, blah blah blah.
Not now. Not now.
Vehicles that people have bought 3-4 years ago.
It's even more, almost times 2 of what they got at that time.
You know, so and it's because of all of these things we are talking about. So Nigerians are still dealing with that. Importers are struggling. Spare parts expensive. Products manufacturers are groaning. Now we're also in an era where people are still complaining about the electricity tariff. Manufacturers are complaining. They are talking about energy cost because again the price of diesel has gone through the roof. You know, logistics have become a problem, overhead costs have become a problem, and then you also have a period where we are already inundated with different types of taxes and levies at the federal, at the state level, even at the local level. So this is a period where Nigerians are like, look, where would help come from? They are looking to the government for some sort of succor. They are looking to the government for some sort of help, and then more still keeps coming. And that's why I said earlier in the morning with Sandra Okoyemi, I've marked 2 words of the president, and I'm beginning to ask, and I don't know whether any of the supporters of the government or the spokesperson of the president, 2 of his words, one during the campaign, one after the campaigns, Okoyemi, and I'm asking, what has come with that particular statement, which was more of like a promise to other Nigerians from the president? The first one, Okoyemi, if you remember, during the campaign, when there was this fuel crisis, Naira crisis, and all of that, the president spoke in Yoruba, I think somewhere in Abeokuta, somewhere during the campaign, that look, ⴰⴅ amagbewale. I don't know whether there are timelines to that or that was just a statement to excite Nigerians at that time. Okoyemi, what has wale? What has come down? Since the president took over, there will be 1 year. Some few days now, there will be 1 year. Is there anything? Because he said it. What was he saying when he said ⴰⴅ amamuwale?
You are showing me that things will be better than they were
Prices
when you were there.
Down. Has anything come down? That's number one statement. And I want somebody to, unless you are telling me that look, there's still time. Oh, the wale has a timeline. We want to know when the timeline is. Is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years that we will now begin to see it wale? Because nothing has come down, at least practically from what we have seen. The other one was when the president said, "Let the poor breathe." He said it himself.
The poor are dying right now.
So,
side front.
When should we expect from this government to begin to see the poor breathing? Because as far as I know, from what we are seeing, okay, the poor is being choked out of life. The poor, it's that goes from the government everywhere. And you know the sad part of all of this, okay, this aggressive revenue drive of the government. We ask ourselves, let us even take from 1999 till date, has there been any time where more revenue to the government has assured better living for the people?
No, not at all.
That has there been any time?
It's basically just providing more money for the people that are
people
milking
will tell
the country.
you, maybe it's in the past. Let us even look at in recent time. At least in the last 6 or 7 months, okay, collectively, FAC allocation has gone up. It's been 1 trillion and above, which means at the federal
in March
state,
it was 2.05 trillion.
So what it means is that look, there's enough money to share in government at the federal, state, and local government level. Even though I believe the local government does not even exist really, but let us ask ourselves: now that more money is being shared at all of these levels, has it affected and impacted positively the lives of the people? Unless they want to tell us that we are being impatient or that we are expecting too much at this short period of time. But the reality is that look, if Nigerians are going through all of these pains, these taxes, these levies, and all of that, let us now look at the other side of the divide, where you have the politicians. Are they making that sacrifice, okay? When they came in, did they wait to say, "Oh, Nigerians will sacrifice like the way you guys are sacrificing to blah blah blah"? Didn't they even increase the budget of the National Assembly? Was it not that time, okay, that they were struggling to get their SUVs? Remember that there was a 70 billion that was also released to them to make them settle in to do their job. They are not waiting. They are not sacrificing. They are taking care of themselves. In this state, remember when there was this procurement problem, that even in Lagos, you had somebody who said he was, I think, the chief of staff that was buying a vehicle for 450 million naira.
And it's not even an official vehicle to welcome guests.
All of this very aggressive revenue drive, we are still seeing reckless procurement. We are still seeing reckless appropriations of the people's funds, because at the end of the day, you are taking too much money from the people to feed the greed, this satiable greed of a few political elites, because they have been voted in power, whereas it's supposed to be the other way around. They are supposed to work to better the lives of the people. We are doing car parks for 6 billion. We are renovating buildings for 5 billion. Now the NSA is looking for money. You know, this is the NSA that has gotten the highest budget appropriation from 1999 to date. Remember, we talked about it, that in the history of the country, at least from 1999 to date, the appropriation to the NSA's office, not a non-operational office, that's supposed to be basically advisory. It's not a full-fledged operational office, if you understand what I'm saying. It's supposed to be basically advisory. Has the highest budget in the history of the country. The same NSA's office now has been given these big largesse. I call it largesse. Exploitative. It's almost like stealing from the poor. And that's the fact, really. Forget about the fact that it was about to. And when we talk about having a vibrant National Assembly, this is exactly what we're saying. Where are the assembly members that are supposed to be defending the interest of ordinary Nigerians? Oh, they've been taken care of by the executive. So they need to kowtow to the needs and greed of the executive. Okwemi, in 2023, electronic transfers in Nigeria alone amounted to over 600 trillion naira. And if you do the calculation, 0.5%, Okwemi, we will be doing about 3 trillion. If this sails through, in 2 weeks' time, it's going to start. People have said, oh, some exemptions. Okay, let us even divide it by 2. Whether we like it or not, Okwemi, 1.5 trillion naira to the NSA's office to be managed, and then you say accountant general will audit and what? Are we babies here? Don't we know what is going on? Where would the accountability come from? And then again, why are we now separating this revenue? Why is it not going to the consolidated revenue account, Okwemi? Why are we separating this one? Then is it because it is the NSA's office, National Security Advisor? Why are we also making cyber security its job function? Remember, you know, we've said it, people don't pay attention to this thing. The NSA is everywhere and anywhere with the president. It's involved in every issue and any issue. There was crisis in Rivers, the NSA was the one that was sitting on the table. On those state issue, the NSA was there. There's everything, the NSA is available in every discussion, in every sphere. You ask yourself, what's supposed to be the job of the NSA? On a daily basis, the report are still killings are still going on in the north.
On the steady,
bandits are still killing people.
On Monday, about 12 people were killed in Kaduna.
The NSA, so cyber security, is that a major threat in terms of security to Nigeria at this time? Really? Because again, we ask ourselves, why should Nigerians, after all we pay to the banks, so we should be paying for the firewalls of the banks? They can fund their own firewalls and defense and ensure that there's enough security in terms of cyber attacks. What is the national policy on cyber security? Okay, do we have a policy document to work with, or we're just going to go into it, raise these monies, keep it with the NSA, and then begin to second guess and mismanage it at the end of the day? Is there really a policy document on cyber security for Nigeria? Have we really had that conversation? What are we working with really? What is the document to work with to now begin to justify these monies that Nigerians will be sweating and suffering to pay? You see, governance is something that we've turned on the head in Nigeria. I thought that governance is about bettering the lives of the people, but unfortunately it's not about that. The way I'm seeing it in Nigeria, it's about, you know, a few people who are able to scale the fence, break down the fence, go into the window, break the door, get into that small circle, a gated democracy kind of thing. They're just in power for themselves, not for the ordinary people. It's clear.
It's quite unfortunate, side Fuad, that we just always have a way to adapt and adjust and move on, in quotes. Well, I hope that the decision or the statement that was made by the LCCI would be considered by the CBN governor, and I hope again that there's been talks that the president listens to Nigerians, and I hope he would understand. But what really, you know, how do I put it now, what really troubles me the most is that it looks like the government just throw things to the public. They just weigh the opinion of the public and then they take it back. It started from as early as appointment of ministers. The person that was nominated as the Minister of Youth in this country, a lot of people said, oh, he's too old, he's too this. The president changed it. A lot of policies have been brought out, and then a few hours later the president will reverse the policy and maybe represent the policy in a different way. We cannot continue with an economy that is so unstable, an economy that is so fragile, an economy that is so exposed to a lot of things, and we continue to play try and error with all of these policies. The government should have a fixed policy document. Let us know how this would be done, when this would be done and the consequences of these things that would be done. If you say the people should make sacrifices, if you want me to tighten my belt, I want to know for how long am I going to sacrifice 3 square meal for 1 meal? How long am I going to sacrifice a balanced diet? I think that's a word that had gone really scarce with Nigerians now. Nobody cares what is in your food. You just wake up in the morning and you try the best you can to put food on your table. It's even worse that actions that you don't have control over, you're scared of falling into them. A lot of people will tell you that in Nigeria now, don't try to fall sick because you cannot afford to get medications in the hospitals anymore or at the pharmaceutical stores, because medications that were going for 6,000, 7,000 are now going for 18,000, 19,000, 20,000. Will I willingly wake up on a day and say I want to fall sick? It's part of the nature, but when it comes, you cannot even afford to take care of yourself side forward. People cannot afford to get basic things of life. A lot of people are dropping out of school, even our institutions, because the people cannot afford to keep that life.
Okay, where's the student loan?
You don't even know.
Remember that.
Somebody asked me last week Wednesday or Tuesday or thereabout in the station room that has the student loan taken off, and I said we saw the launching of it. That's the start of it. We don't know where we are right now.
Where are we on the student loan?
And it's quite unfortunate that the government seems to have a lot going on.
You say a lot going on. It's motion without movement. Headliners, activities, promises, statements to get Nigerians excited.
My friend will say
where's Port Harcourt refinery?
My friend will say the government is busy doing nothing.
Let me take the words of our very good friend Joseph Fᴜဃᴜ that is it that we just have people in government, we don't really have government?
It's obvious straightforward.
Because again, you talk about promises, Okoyemi. Remember that last year, Okoyemi, the president made a broadcast and he promised Nigerian workers that, look, I'm going to give you a living wage that will be operational very, very soon. Where's the living wage? They talked about agriculture, the agricultural sector, where acres of land will be farmed. Like there's an agri revolution that will come, and they have made preparations to do that. What has become of that?
When was last time you heard anything from the Minister of Agri?
I don't even know his name.
And food security.
It's just that's number one. You remember that it was also at that time they talked about supporting businesses. I think about 50-something or 70-something businesses. And that some monies will be set aside. That also has not happened 1 year into this government. Remember, where are the CNG buses? Remember, there was also that promise, CNG, blah, 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 all of that. Palliatives was only done once. I guess when they checked and discovered the governors just collected the money and did nothing with it. They stopped giving it. It was supposed to be 5 billion, they did 2 billion. I'm not sure they did the balance again. That has not also happened. Even the wage award was, at some point they were owing, I don't know whether they've paid the entire 6 months. That is still there. In that same conversation of me, there was a promise of the student loan. The promise of student loan now and the whole conversation around student loan, it was reviewed, the law was changed, blah, 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 has been up till now. We don't even have a clear direction as to how the student loan will be operational. We just been hearing of talks. Now we talked about our refineries too. The refineries are going to. Have you also noticed, Okoyemi, though it's a private refinery, the Dangote refinery, but because we have a 20% stake in that refinery from the NNPCL investment, it's always important that we talk about it. What has been the news from the Dangote refinery, Okoyemi, in recent time? Have you noticed that everything has gone down?
It's gone down.
The last we heard of
the reduction in price of diesel.
Have marketers, can any marketer tell us today
that they bought diesel for 920,
or they've loaded even a liter of diesel from Dangote refinery? Let somebody just tell us that in recent time of all of these conversations, we've been loading from Dangote refinery. Have you noticed that it has all gone down? The last information we heard was that we are still working to give him proper complete operational license, that the one that was given to him was pre-commissioning license. That's also gone down. You also remember, Okoyemi, that in December last year they said mechanical completion of the Port Harcourt refinery had been achieved. They put gas into this thing and did gas flaring for us and celebrated it. We are in April, and now I think what they have now simply done is to say that, look, it will be completed soon because there are no clear timelines. The same Mele Kyari had promised that this same 2024 Warri refinery would work, Kaduna refinery will work. The Port Harcourt that
was celebrated in December
is not yet working.
It's not functional yet.
And even there are people who always say that, look, from the reality on ground,
it can't work.
It can't even
work
this year. And I said, people don't pay attention that one of our friends who understands the oil and gas sector like the back of his hand, I said that, look, at some point at the OTC meeting in Texas, I don't know the year, he said he met with the original asset manufacturers of the Port Harcourt refinery. And you know what they told him? That refinery can never work. He said they told him that it's just like when you meet the manufacturer of a plant and they are telling you that, look, because year in year for years, for decades, you guys have refused to do the right thing to maintain and service that facility, it's not going to work. And yet government keeps putting more. You know that also in this Port Harcourt refinery, there was also a conversation, I think some 1 or 2 months ago, where people are told to submit bids for them to run that refinery. And then it was said that you must have, I think, maybe $2 billion investment, blah blah. So it's beginning to look as if, look, what we have is just motion without movement. Headliners, statements to excite people, empty promises, vague promises, just get the people busy, let them continue to chew on it. Whereas Nigerians are waiting for that light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, we can believe that it's darkest before dawn. But look, when will the dawn come for other Nigerians? When will they begin to see the reality and implementation of all of the promises that have been made by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu government? We are waiting.
Well, we hope that the wait will not be for too long. And in case you're just tuning in, it's been Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, 1 to 3 p.m. every Wednesday. And I'm sure you understand what we do on the show right now. We take our time to extensively discuss some of these issues that maybe time does not allow us to talk about on other spaces. Yes, and don't forget that you would join the conversation on the turn of 1 o'clock for us to have your opinion. Side forward, I don't want to say trouble is brewing in Rivers State, because since Governor Fubara got sworn in, it's been from one trouble to the other. It's been from one problem to the other. Is it his House of Assembly, vetoing the, laws of the land signed by the governor, or the governor saying that, oh, some of these issues are political solutions. I have an audio I would sort out and play for us, but the statements or the recording that was done by the governor of the state that talked about the State House of Assembly members is same thing played out in Edo State under the first tenure of the outgoing governor of the state. And now look at what is happening in Rivers State. Is this the governor of the state, Governor Fubara, in courts getting his act right in playing the politics, or you think this is chaos brewing? Reports yesterday said that the APC in Rivers State has instructed the House of Assembly members to begin an impeachment conversation around for the governor. And so that's the question I want to ask. Okay. Yes, we'll certainly work on that as quick as possible. Okay, let me quickly take a break, just a few seconds. I'll be right back, and then you'll probably get to hear the audio of what the governor of Rivers State is saying to the House of Assembly members. I'll be right back.
Here is easy to bring normalcy and redecorate. It's more difficult.
The general elections in 2023 have created conversations and consequences that will live with us for years to come. From the executive to the judiciary, legislature, media, and the people, organized labor, and civil society organizations, issues that will continue to shape the future of our country needs continuous probing and interrogation.
I see the greater objective for the party, and let me tell you, I've told the PDP in some locations that, gentlemen, be careful. Better men have founded parties that have gone into oblivion. Where's the party of Awolowo? Where's the party of Azikwe? Where's PRP of Rimi? Political parties must be nurtured, they must be reinvented, they must be true to their own
괡ɪᴛᴛᴇʀ and Said Fuad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday 1 to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM for thought-provoking conversations, voices from the top, engaging interviews, in-depth analysis on all matters around politics, policies, and governance. Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, bringing the right perspectives to everything politics.
Politics now big business.
So welcome back. We've got it sorted. I will play you the audio. You get to hear the governor, the voice of the governor of Rivers State, addressing members of the State House of Assembly, democratically elected members of the State House of Assembly. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM. It's midweek politics. Let's listen to this soundbite, and when we come back, we'll talk about this. We'll read a lot of your messages that have been pouring in. I would also pick your calls. Let's listen to this one.
Let me say it here. The young people, those group of men who claim that are assembly members, are not assembly members. They are not existing. I want it to be on record. I accepted that peace accord. I accepted that peace accord to give them a floating. That's the truth. There was nothing in that peace accord that's a constitutional issue. It's a political solution to a problem. And I accepted it because these were people that were eating in my house. These were people that have helped pay their children's school fees when I wasn't even a governor. So what is sitting there? Yeah, we might have a division, but I believe that one day we could also come together. And that was the reason I did it. But I think it's gotten to a time when I need to make a statement on this thing, so that they understand that they're not existing. The existence is me allowing them to exist. If I de-recognize them, they are nowhere. That's the truth. So, I want you to see the sacrifice I've made in the course of allowing peace to be in our state. I can say here with all amount of boldness, I've never called any policeman anywhere to go and harass anybody. I've never gone anywhere to do anything against anybody. But what happens to people that are supporting me? They are being harassed. They are being detained. There is no week that somebody doesn't come here with one letter of invitation for drop-up charges and all those things. And in the face of this, you use the word. And why I'm saying this is because of what my senior said here, restraint. I don't think the other party has shown any restraint. I am the one that have shown restraint in the face of this thing. I'm the one that is badly heated. Even when I have all the instrument, government instrument, to cause the disaster. Then why would I do it? This is a relationship that you eat together, you drink together. Why would I forget those things? So even when I act knowing fully well that there's a relationship which is bigger and greater than any other thing. Politics will come, politics will go. But what is most important is your relationship, how you're being perceived after power. It doesn't last forever. It's something that stays for a while. It's a transit or whatever. After which it will go. This is not the first time. Today, our father, they say former, is it not? How many years? He had his time. Maybe at that time people say, oh, it might be forever. So if you understand that, no matter how you look at it, whether one way or the other, it starts and it ends. It teaches you a lesson about life. Things that my commissioners ought to do when they hide the information from me. He calls me to tell me this. You don't know what I'm going through. I'm working with my own enemies. Imagine where your commissioner, your attorney general will go to sabotage you. It's as bad as that. But they will get their reward. Not in this world, in this world. So you see, if I had not gone to reconcile with my brother, I would have been in bigger shit. So I've already started benefiting, reaping fruits of that relationship, that peaceful relationship. It's unfortunate, let me also say this. What brought us to this level is we don't have leaders in River State. Let's not pretend. What is happening in River State even happened in Bayelsa, but people could call and say, don't do this, and he said, let's let it go. It was done here, but nobody listened because the leaders have sold their conscience. Because of what? Not even good money. Not good money. If you're doing something because of money, then it should be good money. Me, I want to live here and be that kind of leader that will look at you and tell you the truth. That is what leadership should be. And that is what, when you leave an office, when you are considered an elder statesman, that is a quality of an elder. It's not the issue of, let me satisfy, he's going to give me social contract. No, it's not true about contract. It's saving the soul of our state. I will continue to do those things that are right to make you people proud.
Side forward. I don't know what perception we're going to look at this issue in Rivers State. By the way, what I just played was the bite of the governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Governor Fubara, and he talked about this. He said, I've remained calm when I have the instruments of states to cause disaster. That is a governor. He said, we don't have leaders in Rivers State. From the governor. He also said, my commissioners are hiding information from me. He specifically mentioned the Attorney General of the state. Remember, we talked about the redeployment of the Attorney General.
The man has left.
And he eventually resigned.
He had to.
He said, these young men addressing House of Assembly members, their existence is me. If I don't recognize them, they are nobody. Side forward. Is this Governor Fubara playing the victim card, or is Governor Fubara owning and understanding the power he wields as a democratically elected governor rather, of a state as big as Rivers State? And in between those lines, are you expecting a response from Wike? He talked about the fact that the states don't have leaders, that people have sold their conscience. Side forward. It looks like the things in Rivers State are falling absolutely apart. How long will the center hold?
Yeah, 5 months ago, precisely 5 months ago, when the supposed peace accord was reached in Abuja between Governor Siminalayi Fubara, some elders of Rivers State. I think former Governor Peter Odili was also part of that particular meeting, and of course his supposed godfather, now the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. One of the things we said at that time was that, look, would this agreement, this particular accord, bring real peace to the political landscape in Rivers State and for Rivers people when it comes to governance? And at that time we predicted that, look, peace was far from the conversation because it was just going to be peace of the graveyard. Remember that, look, when that 8-point resolution was announced and it became a public document for us to review, we said that, look, he had signed his political suicide note. It's just going to happen. It's like, when you go into, people have not come out to debunk it, was tongue-lashed by the president. Team that, look, who told you to go and demolish the state assembly? I know what I would have done and all. But just say that was what was important. And that the man looked sober, he looked helpless. Again, put yourself in the position of governor. I'm not defending because he has his own fault. Play the, let me still respect, my godfather memories a bit. And let's really talk about the 8th resolution at that time. That's become the problem of Rivers State now. The first one, I remember that we said that, look, from those 8 points, it's clear that this was a draft from the office of Nyesom Wike that was just given to the president to present to the governor, because all of the drafts showed clearly that, look,
Wike's position, they were coming from Wike's advantage point.
It was clear. We said it that, look, it must have been a Wike that has sat over this, drafted it, and just give it to the president to please hand it over to the governor. The first one, Governor Fubara and his allies will withdraw all court cases related to the crisis.
And it was done.
And was done. That was, at least that was done. How far it was done, we don't know, because again, you know, too many cases and in too many courts, so we don't really know. And we've not been able to follow really whether all of the cases have been withdrawn. That's number one. Number two, the State House of Assembly will drop impeachment proceedings initiated against Fubara. I think that was done.
That was done.
Now, let's go to the third one. The leadership of the House under Speaker Martins Amaweli, sorry, a Wike loyalist, the guy that is now the Speaker, will be recognized. You know, at that time there was a different speaker.
Yes, it was a different speaker that was there.
I've forgotten his name. Who is now the chief of staff?
That's Right Honorable Martins. I remember. He resigned his election, his position as the member House of Assembly,
just to leave the position.
He was now appointed as the chief of staff to the governor.
But Martin Amawele and his group, a Wike loyalist, will be recognized along with the 27 lawmakers who defected from the PDP. That issue, Okoyemi, up till today has not been resolved. The legality of that defection, whether they've lost their seat or they've not lost their seat, is still hanging in the balance. So this recognition of those assembly members, that's what Fubara is saying. It's not even known to the law. It's just a political recognition. That's what he's saying. Number four, Governor Fubara will represent the 2024 budget to the Amawele-led assembly as he presented it.
No.
Number five, salaries and benefits for all assembly members and staff will be restored. I think he must have done that because they are not complaining about their salaries. So that's number five. Number six, the assembly will have autonomy to choose its location and conduct businesses without interference from the executive. I think they'll be sitting wherever they want to sit now. Maybe the extension of the old assembly, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's been the issue. 7 times, Okoyemi, in the life of that assembly, they vetoed the governor. 7 times. The latest
in less than a year
is the State Procurement Act.
Where I think I was done on Monday.
They vetoed the governor again. The seventh time. Now, number 7, the governor will resubmit the names of recognized commissioners for approval. I did that, and some of them that were becoming problematic, what has he done to them? He has deployed them, and they've on their own resigned. And then number 8, the dissolution of local governments is declared null and void. You know, up till now, local government election is also one of the things they are fighting over. The governor is not ready to conduct the local government elections, while the state are insisting, and they vetoed him on the local government law. That's also one issue they've not been able to resolve because of the political interest that comes with local government election in that particular state. And then you have all of this hanging in the balance. Now, when Fubara was signing this thing, then, because he signed to it, we saw the document. What was he thinking? Was it okay? I'm before the president, I can't argue with him, blah, blah, blah. Let me just sign for signing's sake. But I know what I'm going to do. That's number 1. Number 2, look at this 8th resolution of PME. And let us begin to critically analyze what the law says about all of this, especially the direction of the assembly members. You know that up till today, as we speak, that has not yet been resolved. There are court cases that are still questioning the legality of that defection.
Yes.
And then let us now tell ourselves, okay, the state assembly members that have sworn allegiance only to one man, Nyesom Wike in Abuja, because from their operations, from everything they've done consistently, it's clear that look, these are people. You know, Nyesom Wike also said it, that I bought funds for all of them. I put them there. It was my structure. Even the governor, I did everything.
There were a lot of aggrieved people that wanted to participate in the PDP primaries. They were shot aside.
So it's obvious that these guys are completely loyal. I think their job is not to even the state. They just, what does Nyesom Wike want? And that's what they are doing. Now, should we begin to ask again that look, how do we expect them to work together? How do you expect a godfather who has planted people everywhere, from the state assembly to people in government, to give the governor peace? How can they work together? You know, Fubara is saying that look, leaders have intervened, that a similar crisis was brewing in Bayelsa. Leaders of Bayelsa came in, and to a great extent
it was solved.
But in Rivers State, he said it, that there are no leaders, because when this crisis started, people intervened, and our leaders have sold their conscience. If you remember, when journalists asked Nyesom Wike in one of his media briefings that look, what is now the relationship between you and former Governor Peter? Because if you're going to be talking about who is supposed to be the political leader of the state, who should be able to whip people to line, not whip really, but bring them together.
Everybody together.
Let's respect ourselves, let's give peace a chance, really. I think Mr. Peter Odili should have been in that kind of position.
But Peter Odili actually came out to give a vote of confidence on the governor about 2 weeks ago.
And even said there was an appeal to Yᴏᴜᴜ Wᴇᴇ to say, look, you can help people. You can help somebody to get to power, but let him do the job.
Breathe.
And I'm sure that all of the other details we don't know about whatever agreement they had before the elections would have also been discussed at the inner circle of their meetings. But let me tell you something, Okoyemi. One thing about power. And apart from Lagos, you know, we've said it consistently. Apart from Lagos, and that's why it would be nice to sit President Bola Ahmed Tinubu down and ask him some critical questions about how he's been able to hold the political leadership of Lagos under his apron string
For that long.
without crisis. For that long.
Unchecked.
That's a genius, whether we like it or not. That's political ingenuity. Say it, call it whatever you want to call it. Because in other areas of in other states, in other places, what has become of godfather godson relationship? It ends in chaos and crisis. Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole Obaseki, we know the story. In Kano State, Kwankwanso Ganduje, we know the story. Even in Benue now, Father Aliyah George Akume is in crisis. Everywhere
They barely see each other.
Everywhere it's in crisis. River State, it didn't even last 3 months before the whole thing went.
Look at those states.
Look at it. So you know, we need to ask ourselves if there's going to be real peace in River State. And people are talking about political solution, even though I don't really like to talk about political solution.
Even the governor alluded to the fact that signing those conditions were just political solutions.
Who
would be the leader?
Who's going to be the leader now? And when we talk about leadership, it comes to sacrifice. To say, okay, as the leader,
let me bend a bit.
Let me just bend and allow peace to reign. Have we seen the other side? We are looking at the governor,
and the other side is still within the same side.
So let's ask ourselves: have we seen leadership come with sacrifice in the case of River State? Have we seen a Yᴏᴜᴜ Wᴇᴜ, for example,
that's ready to bend, to accommodate?
Again, we are not talking morality here. We're just talking practical politics. Okay, this is politics. Let's just allow things to be. Let's allow peace. And what we are seeing, Okoyemi, is that look, on the governor's side, he's grandstanding. He's having his own movement. I've seen the simplified movement now, all gathering power and momentum. You know, you see young people now who probably have not been good in books of UK now also finding their voice. Leaders Wike have described as political inspired products are also rallying
around the governor.
You know, Secondus, Senator Lee, Maiba, and all of these guys are also selling. And even a Peter Odili have told the governor,
I'm with you. You are the leader of the party in the state.
Whereas Wike on the other side is also using his own political structure, or at least whatever is remaining of that structure, to continue to push his own agenda, which is to continue to run by proxy the affairs of River State. That's just what is happening. And then, of course, he's also getting allies. Okay, Senator Abbey,
Magnus Abbey,
just over the weekend has also said that, look, I'm now with my friend Wike, we are now together again. So people are building.
These guys used to be sworn enemies.
These are sworn enemies. The only person that is missing in the calculation
is Rotimi
Amechi. He has not said anything. We don't know where it belongs to. We don't know who is supporting. Because whether we like it or not,
he's a big factor
in the conversation of River State, political conversation of River State,
from 1999
you can't throw away Rotimi Amechi,
a former speaker, two-time governor,
and former minister,
7.5 years minister.
So whether we like it or not, if you look at the trajectory from Mr. Peter Odili, Celestine Omeha came in briefly, the court stream aside, Rotimi Amechi came in. Whether we like it or not, from Peter Odili, Yᴏᴜᴜ Wᴇᴜ was also in
he's
the
always been in the factor.
Whether,
as a chairman, as a minister, state minister, then a substantial minister.
Rotimi Amechi brought him in chief of staff later. He was nominated to become minister, and then the rest is history. Yᴏᴜᴜ Wᴇᴜ has now. So if you ask yourself now, who are the leaders of River State? Does anybody still have that stature, that capacity to whip everybody back to line and say, hey, let's put a stop to this? For the benefit of Rivers people, it's time to sheath your swords, let governance reign, and let the dividends of democracy be given to the people. Do you have anybody in River State that can do that?
You know, the unfortunate part of it is that the people suffers from all of this.
Of course, yes.
Because rather than for governance to take the front seat, politicking and politicking is taking the front seat.
Because again, the governor too would have to activate something. He wants to survive.
At every little space that Governor Fubara is got, whether he's talking in church, whether he's commissioning a project, he's playing the victim's card. You don't know what I'm going through. I'm working with my enemies.
We know. We can't say he's playing the victim card. We don't
because we don't have an idea on what was agreed on between him and his predecessor.
You see,
now the governor at every single stand, he whips up that sentiment. Oh, I'm dining with the devil.
He may
I'm
actually
doing
be dining
this.
with the devil. Well, let me tell you the analogy of dining with the devil. And this, I'll give the credit to my late grandfather. May God bless his soul. And you know, there's this Yoruba word that, look, if you want to dine with the devil,
your spoon
has to be very long.
very, very long.
That Entuba Mabeshu Jeun. Shibi Emagu. He now corrected me. You know, we were having a conversation. I was trained by my old man, so we keep talking. I said, look, why must you dine with the devil?
In the first place, what are you looking for?
That, look, what you should be doing is Yagofeshu. Don't even get on the table with the devil to even now begin to have any dine with the devil. Just stay away from the devil. And that was the philosophy he gave to us as children while growing up. Because what he said is that, look, that your long spoon that you've taken to the dining table with the devil, he will collect that spoon
and break it, and then now face you, and you now understand that you are in trouble. So we need to ask ourselves, how far into dining with the devil, quote and has Fubara gone?
That's the big question.
I didn't see that perspective to all of this conversation, but it's okay. We'll open the phone lines. Like I said, I've got loads of messages to read, and I will try my best to cover all of that. We started this conversation since 1 p.m. I will start off with the issue of the multiple tax that Nigerians are being subjected to directly or indirectly, and at the end of the day, all of these taxes would have effect on the price of commodities. So even if they are not taxing you directly, if you don't have a bank account, they are taxing you indirectly by paying more for commodities that you should be paying less for. We looked into that as well. We also looked at the issue of the communication management, especially the people saddled the responsibility of managing the communication within the lines of the president. I mean, a lot of things are happening and I just don't know. The president was away for 2 weeks. Nigerians understood that he went to Netherlands. From Netherlands, he went to Saudi Arabia to attend the WEF, that's the World Economic Forum, that ended on the 29th of April. And from then till yesterday, nobody knew the whereabouts of Mr. President. But well, the president is reportedly back in the country, and let's hope that things would also continue to fall into space. We'll also look at the ongoing battle in Rivers State. Rivers State is always giving us something to discuss. It looks like it's probably going to be like this for the next 4 years, and if Governor Fubara is lucky to survive this political tsunami, let's see if he's going to go in for another second term. Rivers State has always been in the news for twists and turns.
It's a game of time, Okwemi. Time will tell.
And how much time is God will be determined by how much grassroots has been able to, because we can't deny the fact side for it, that Governor Fubara absolutely rode on the strength of Governor Wike to get into office. Nobody disputes that. It's a clear case of a political godfather.
Those that are rallying behind him now knows that.
They understood that's why they're giving him that level that we know that I can't remember how many times Governor Fubara spoke during the campaigns. Governor Wike is always saying, "Oh, I'm Mr. Project. I did 18 flyover bridges, and this one is going to continue."
Doing all the talking, really.
Yes, this one. And side for one, the reason was that Governor Wike then was using the campaign of Governor Fubara to campaign for his own presidential ambition within the PDP.
Yes, it was a simultaneous campaign.
Because some of those projects that were being commissioned, there was on the street that said those projects were kept on commission, hoping that Governor Wike will pick the presidential ticket of the PDP and he would use those projects to say, hey, if I could do all of this
when
in
he lost
Rivers
out
State,
on getting the ticket,
it became my glory. I mean, well, it's been funny, but at the end of the day, like Governor Fubara said, they have sold for cheap money. So there's cheap money
it's bad, it's not
and
good
there's
money.
big money. Okay, I read your messages first. 0913-600-0410. I greet you fundamentally. Let me start from the Rivers politics. I was one of the persons that was disappointed with those 8-point resolution which Governor Fubara accepted, but I'm happy that the governor is recovering his voice. Let him start by replacing the state chief judge, whom I was told was appointed by Wike, and put his own person there, and let's see the new chief judge declare the 27 seat of those lawmakers vacant for leaving their party. Let the INEC also move to conduct fresh election there, and if any Wike's man win, I would advise Governor Fubara to take a cue from Governor Obaseki and proclaim all those loyal to. No, you cannot be justifying legality. It's absolutely wrong. Yes. Okay. This is Daniel, and it says the government is about audio promises and fake promises to the masses of Nigeria. Look at the loan promises and also look at the electrical increment that are just confusing. And now they are planning to save money for the election of 2027. Let them come with their money this time. It will not work. And again, these people, since when they have been in power, the current economy has been sinking down every day. We're still watching them. Excuse me, without anything until we're ready. That is when we'll start to reclaim our what is ours. Okay. Dampi from Igondo says, if we talk, they will say we are anti-party and we are against the government. This regime is the worst I've ever noticed in my life, and all they do is to burn the people from jobs and companies, and also to increase the tax. Where there's no job, no security, no good road, everything is worse, and it's a failed system we have here. Now they want to do the road from Lagos to Calabar. That money can be used to repair our refineries and place into the power sector. But all this is in a bid to keep money for 2027 election. Okay, we vote them out. Dampi, thank you very much. And from Igondo, this one is Demola from Ikotsu, and it says the President Tinubu said we will slow down the purchasing power of the people, slow down to economy and widening the tax net. He's fulfilling that, and all he has planned for Nigerians and Nigeria. Whoever believed this APC government does it as its our own peril. We are nothing before most of these politicians. It's what a shameful ruler and tax master that call themselves our leaders. Okay, I would also pick some calls very soon, but let me stop on Facebook and see the messages you've dropped for us. Okay, this one says okay, I already read this one via the text message. Bila de Ambo says, different fields, different grasshoppers, different ponds, and different frogs. Compare oranges to orange and grapes to grapes. We should not be quick to adopt the tax system of Europe and America, where the public amenities are available for the benefit of the taxpayers. Why are the leaders of Nigeria looking for manure in a field where cattle have not grazed? From which pocket would Nigerians bring out the money for the cyber security levy? Do we need to remind them that the government has taken so much from them already, leaving them with almost empty pockets? Okay, let me pick your call. 0913-600-0410. Let's join the conversation. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Yeah, can you hear me properly because
Yes.
my battery?
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Your name or where you
Good
calling from?
afternoon. Oga Ford, my name is Malam
Malam
Salam.
Salam,
Okay,
yeah.
you're welcome.
Oga Ford, Obara has won the battle already. He has won the game. If you look at it politically carefully, can you hear me?
We are with you.
We are with you.
He has won the battle. I mean, the duel now. Wike is partially displaced. You understand? Now that he has identified his weakness and his power. You understand? The problem is the State House of Assembly, isn't it? He has already dislodged the State Attorney General of the state. So there is no way you can impeach. The next thing he is supposed to do, which I believe that is his plan, is to stop. If he never recognize those House of Assembly members as legitimate members, you stop their salary and their benefit. No politician can stand 2, 3, 4, 5 months without any income.
True.
And he will remain. He will see some certain disloyalty to UK, because I don't know how long UK would sponsor those guys. You understand? This is another political mathematics. My concern is this. According to one of the papers that reported today, that APC reverse chapter issued a statement that
impeachment.
they should impeachment. Why? Okay, what is there any response from the PDP?
None.
Okay, wait, Malam Salah.
Yes, sir.
If you look at the PDP now, who are the leaders of the PDP today?
That is the issue. You know why? I logically build the issue. You know why? Because about a week or in one of the affairs programs, he talked of opposition party in Nigeria. Adi?
Yes.
Now, PDP as a serious party, you know, in politics is just like a game of boxing. You shouldn't allow any you are hopeless to an interest of setting on you to take advantage of it. Dele Momodu has this statement that APC or presidency is involved or rather
killing the opposition
in the distance. And they are now creating lacuna. Now there is problem in the state. No politician that wish to be a president of this country that will allow a state like River, going like this, and there will not be any statement. You understand?
All right.
So this is the problem. And now look at what is happening in the neighboring state or 2 states away. That is call me Edo. Edo is the same thing. Obaseki is losing that state APC, whether we like it or not. When people are saying that Philip Shabu is this, that, the guys are ganging up against the governor. And in politics, a tree can never be a forest. You understand? So Ubara has identified the problem. He's using it gradually, systematically. He have understand that he signed that accord is just because to make a peace.
Thank you, Malam.
Not that it has any constitutional backing. So definitely he's winning. He's winning the battle. He's winning.
Thank you.
Next year the politics started. Yes.
It's quite unfortunate that we are talking about the governor winning battle where there should be development.
It's a battle now. Is it not a battle?
It's a bad battle.
Well, it's bad battle, but it's a battle.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yes, this is Pastor Badamasi from Sulu.
Good to have you join us today.
I think Ubara will lose the war. He's going to lose.
This one is war now. That one was battle.
He's going to lose the war.
Okay.
You see, why I'm saying this is that politics is an inner thing. It's an inner comfort thing. And look at Lagos. Look at Ambody. Whoever will have we spend his one time, but they can't come back again. That is the problem. If luckily we spend this, Ambody, you are saying that Lagos. You should ask you should ask President Tinubu how he made it in Lagos. It's a cultural thing. It's something that people believe in.
There's nothing cultural, Pastor. I'm a Lagosian. It's not culture. It's just political. It's not. What's the culture? That people just accept somebody. Remember Baba Sokpe in the same Lagos.
Baba Sokpe.
People rejected Baba Sokpe in this same Lagos. So it's not cultural. How he has been able to do it politically, we can address that and give him the flowers.
Baba Sokpe, how far have they gone?
What I'm saying is that in this same Lagos, we've seen situations where people rejected Godfatherism. But if President Bola Tinubu was able to do it, we give him the political flowers and begin to ask questions how he's been able to do it. But it's not cultural. That's what I'm saying. We are not docile people.
But do you know that? If you take oath, Yoruba stand on oath too much than any other person in the country.
Oath?
And they take oath. They take oath.
Okay, I don't know about that.
No, you don't know about oath. They take oath. I'm a politician who has been there before, and I know what is there. So if you flout it, you're going to suffer for it.
Oh,
that's
okay.
the problem.
They take oath. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
They take oath.
I don't know.
You know what oath is?
I don't know.
Eh?
I don't know. I'm not a politician. I'm not a politician.
He said he's a politician. Why are you running away?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Pastor Ambrose.
Good afternoon.
Your mouth will never go your mouth will never shut low.
Amen. No.
You continue to be a voice for the voices, and you continue to speak the truth. One thing I know about the Russia and people from Lagos is that there is one Fᴜᴜᴜ. I'm sure you know him. He's also a Lagosian, and he's always very, very superior. I don't know why those people were clapping for Fubara. Why were they clapping for him? You see, these are part of the problems that we have. I'm totally in support of Fubara. But why were they clapping for him? Is it not the same Fubara who said that he's ready to do anything for people to raise river? Just like Fuad has said, and at the end of the day, whether it was a strategy, I don't know. But I'm beginning to think that it's a strategy. And the unfortunate thing is that our governors are not hearing. Have you ever seen any governor that has been loyal to the predecessor, except Ododo, as at now? Even Fashola was not loyal to Tinubu.
And
And at the point in time,
people will argue that to Pastor Ambrose.
and so at the point in time, say, may your loyalty not be tested.
But that does not mean he's not loyal. He's still.
We knew what happened. And why Tinubu has been able to succeed, why? Is that he calculates. He knows where to shift his thoughts. He, for example, if he had decided to go into battle with Fashola that time, he would have lost. And that would have been the end of his career. So he knows when to shift his thoughts. And even in Ambode's case too, for Tinubu, he didn't want Ambode he wanted Ambode to go for second term. But the people said no. So that's part of his strategy. When you are a leader, you know when to shift your thoughts. Let me go to the issue of this. What is the other one? The first issue.
The issue of
We
tariffs.
talked about the taxes.
Yes, no. The president and all of these levies and taxes and how things have gone haywire in this country. You will see people will come and still tell you that you should give him time. You know, when you enter, they say 1 year. The next thing they will say 4 years. After 4 years, they will say 4 years is not enough. They keep on giving.
Hello, Pastor Ambrose.
Network, huh?
Apologies. If you can, I would appreciate if you can still call back. Let me drop out on Facebook. Undi Austin is asking, what is the name of the deputy governor of Rivers State? Let's discuss him, as he may become the next governor very soon. Well, the deputy governor of Rivers State is not him. Her name is Her Excellency rather, Ngozi Ima Odu. Yes. A lot of people don't even know. Even during former Governor Wike's administration, a lot of people don't even know
Deputy
who the deputy. By the way, she's representing River North Senatorial District rather. She's a senator. Yeah. So
at that time.
Now she's a senator.
Well, yes, she was the
She was a deputy governor at that time. I mean, when you have governors that you probably won't even smell that deputies close by.
They respect themselves.
You see anyhow. The brains of our leaders are divided into two halves, the right and the left. On the right side there's nothing left, and on the left side there's nothing right. What is the cyber security levy for? There's nothing anybody will tell me, because I'm not one of those docile and okay. Please, let's be careful with the words that we use to address the people. Nigeria is a joke, and as far as I'm concerned, this is a fraud and another means to siphon public funds. Okay, Nigerians. Okay, Wilfred, really, I got a message. Okay, Oluwafe is complaining, and he says Tinubu was once a critic of government, complaining and lamenting like Fuad is doing on the radio. But today, Tinubu is Nigeria's president, and everybody is complaining about bad governance. And let's talk more of the solution than the problems we all know and the problems we're facing. Every Nigerian have contributed to this. I remember one of the things that Mr.
Prepared for years.
If you've been prepared and give solutions upon
lamenting.
No.
Here,
who the Austin says on how to handle wiki possible in River State.
Where they say they always.
The governor and the legislature, they declare they wobbly for PDP. I've been PDP member for the governor. Matter internally, one of the best Gumi is called BK behind you, soldier is behind you. Before can stand on 2 feet until he goes for second.
091.
Madam Ifi, good afternoon. I went to Lawanson because I want to talk about this tariff, this taxes that government is trying to put on us. I went to Lawanson for me. I left my house 6:15. I didn't take Uber, I didn't drive. I took bus. Do you know that by 20 minutes to 8, I was where I was going in Lawanson? There's no hold up anywhere. That tells you that the economy is not running. Obankra, if you see, immediately we pass that the GoSo started from that. Sorry, the GoSo just started from that primary secondary school, that primary school or secondary school, before Fapa Junction. Immediately we just cross over that Fapa Junction.
It's free.
I cried in my soul. I cried. I said, economy is not running.
If you get to Bankra, the now center of business too, in industry,
it's so quiet and almost empty. Yeah.
Very quiet. The sun, who going to reach that Bankra at that time? Everywhere was so calm. We entered Produ Road. I enter one 괘ᴏ to stadium. I mean, before I enter, but everywhere free. The economy is not running. We are not giving us a good economy. And you come, you will be taxed. What if you want to tax our blood? Go and see cartoons all over the social media. Somebody said you want to tax breast milk. You want to kill us? Why don't you do this? You came with the one that got this slang of let the poor breathe. And we say, oh God, this is our president. The action party now lie. You want to tax our blood, tax our skin until we collapse. No money to buy drugs. I'm just opportunity that I have good children. No money. The money that I used to buy at 3,800 is now 17,500. And I got to take that message every day to scare life. Then somebody will come here. I want to be taxing those children. No increment in their salary, no nothing. Everybody just let me go this one that I'm just going, and you can cancel and take it. I spent 3,600 to and fro yesterday. What kind of nonsense is that?
Thank you, Madam Ifi. Thank you very much. Sorry, like I said at the start of the program, do whatever you can, the best you can to stay healthy. I mean, even
take care of yourself.
The whole small one I'm managing, I know how much I've gone out of, because it's really okay. Imagine if another person was elected in 2023, the APC supporters would have told us that if Bat had won, we wouldn't be suffering, and now we've tasted it and we know what it is. Hopefully the APC will hear from us come 2027. Now that Mr. Ben of APC is nowhere to be found to come and explain what his party is doing to Nigerians.
Leave Ben alone.
Of Governor Fubara, Amici will be somewhere enjoying the whole scenario with some good laughter. And lastly, you guys are making me fall in love with that Yoruba traditional cap filler. Thank you very much, Akorede Olarewaju. Thank you very much. I will appreciate. Francis Godfrey says, Sir Fuhad, you're the best analyst in Nigeria. We know. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, I got a bit late. 0913-600-0410. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome. Your name and where you joining us from?
My name is Ade, calling from Idiroko in Ogun State.
Mr. Ade, all the way from Idiroko. You're welcome.
Idiroko. Please, good afternoon, Mr. Fuad.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Please, I want to talk about this tax or no tax. There's something happened to me in Lagos State now. I fell sick from early December 22. So then I parked my car in my compound. Up to today, I have not started that car for once, for a day like this to warm me. I now received a message from February this last month that I contravened traffic law. I think it's traffic law. The car that I parked around January 2022, and the particular was expired July, where I parked it last year. So when the guy took the car out, he hit my
that broke traffic law.
That broke traffic law. I don't understand. And they now asked me that I should go and pay 40,000 naira. That is my fine. Hello, sir.
What with you?
So just to corroborate what you said in the morning when you are doing the evaluation. See, let me tell you, sir. You know, I'm always said this government is not a government. For me, I do not recognize that this government, even the president. I don't, because he has really before a year of this government now, because of this pain of people to talk to people, to adapt to what to do so that they will not go down. People are going down. I always say people are going down. I'm not living in the even now I've been packing my load now. I'm going back to Oyo. I left the Lagos for them. Let the government, let them continue, because I don't understand this government at all. I have lost everything. Nothing. All different taxes, police, PIO, this and that, tax force, everything.
What is this problem, sir? Please help us talk to them now.
Thank you.
And when you talk, we want people to not to talk.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I know a lot of people are really vexed, and hey, we're just hoping that the government will do the needful and let people breathe. Hello, Obi.
Well, and we agree to now.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Why are you laughing now for?
Anytime I just get this call.
This man, no, the bread where you promised me since I'm not in the bread. And you promised that when things were better. It means that now it's not possible now.
This is no see bread
It's not
chop
possible now. The bread is almost 2,000.
I no see bread chop.
Fuad, let me know what you see my graphs on this tax. Do you know my graphs, Fuad? What is the population of Nigeria? Do we have data? What are you going to do? What are you going to use in solving most of the problems you are talking about when you don't even have data? You don't know who is who. Well, let me tell you, as a student in former Eastern Bloc, precisely Bulgaria, do you know that when you change your address, you must let the police know? Do you know? Who has address in this country? Do you know where people are? If you are looking for me,
that was why I asked Okoyemi, this so-called cybersecurity, do we have a working model? Do we have
no working model? I would have had problem
blueprint
if I was not a student. If I was not a student, what I would have had problem. They say leave him as a student, and they corrected me. Because it's a very serious offense. You know, because people change address here. Do you know that people are still selling a card? This our SIM card is still sell with different people to go and register and send to people to use.
Maybe you add of NIN.
Yes, so I don't know the essence of these things they are doing every time. They are not getting to the basics. You know, they are not going to get into it. For what? After 40 years, a man will crystallize. You can't change your character. He has crystallized. Maybe he has a good character. He's not an ambitious. He's not a bad man. But if he were Kubara, what hope would do to Rochas? That's what I would do. I would do to Wike. Wike will not enter the Imo State. Sorry, River State. No. Everybody is different. I'm telling you, because if you don't do fire for fire, I don't know how people are arrogating power to human beings as if they are God. People are praying, Wike is this, Wike for Bola Tinubu president. Nobody is God now. It's only God that can have such arrogant such powers. Life is present now. If they say somebody will go to America after spending $2.5 million, charter a flight, the person will die in America where security and everything is plain crash. Will you believe that? So let us take life easy, please. Take care of yourself.
Thank you very much. Well, I don't think anyone should be denied entry into any states. Whether you're a serving minister, or you're a former governor, or you're a regular River State indigene, I think people should be allowed to come into
remember that Atiku was denied entry into River State during the presidential campaign. By the same weekend.
Atiku is not from Rivers.
But at least he's Nigerian. You remember? He was not allowed to campaign in Rivers.
That was politics at its peak.
This by the same weekend.
Pastor Ambrose, good to have you join us back.
Yes, so as I was saying, this our president now, as we're talking now, is a man of taxes and taxes and taxes. You know, when he wanted to go for second term in 2023, he promised us the 4th mainland bridge. Till today, did we get it? The government is just giving politicians money like what I said. Most local government chairmen in Lagos now, they are traveling abroad almost every month. Some of them are trying to relocate. I'm not mentioning names anyway. So they are just doing what they like. They just collect money, they share among themselves, give to the balance and all of that, give to the politicians and all of that. So the President Tinubu has given them, more money. And this president, if he were not the president of this country today, what would he be doing? He will be at the vanguard of protest. But you can see every protest, this man will win it. People are just saying NLC this and that. It's not that NLC don't want to do anything. They are at the top of their game. They don't want any protest. They want Nigerians to suffer and suffocate to death. Okay, Gary is 35. You will hear, they will tell you right, it's 48,000 in social media. Go and price rice in the market now. Is it yam? The purchasing power of Nigerians in January has reduced by 300%. The things that I used to buy now with the same money, I can't even buy half of them again. You look at Dangote, if Dangote can build a refinery within this period, why has the federal government not built refineries? Why? Is it not all okay? I keep on asking a question. All these places that the president go to, if things were not working, would they go there? They go there, they go to for medical tourism, they go for all of
Thank
this.
you, Pastor Ambrose.
I keep on, yes, I will round up just in 30 seconds. I keep on saying it, the election has come and gone. This president, let us tell him the truth so that we can move forward. So that Nigeria, where we are going to, well, let me end it because so that others can call. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Ambrose. 0913-600-0410. More messages dropping on our Facebook page. Don't forget to follow us. Facebook.com/Mainland 98.3 FM. Yes. Well, Oluwaseun Damilare Awoyemi says, Wike versus Tinubu and Fubara versus Ambode. The competition isn't competing at all. Wike should be compared with the likes of Oshiomhole and Kwankwaso. Fubara should use 20% of his power like Ganduje and Obaseki and stop this pity party. On the 0.5% additional tax, we the real Lagosians by birth are not surprised. We knew how he ran Lagos with tax. Agbero gained ground in the name of taxation. May God bless us. Okay. Oluwatosin Williams says, for the Rivers State Governor, it is now or never. I only hope he has the courage and resilience to fight for his political survival. It's really unfortunate on Fubara, really. I mean, other governors are enjoying the luxury of being executive governors of the state. They are chilled. One is even hiding his predecessor. Well, Fubara is just fighting for his political survival.
That's his own story.
It's crazy. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Your radio.
Please, you need to put down the volume of your radio set, or you turn it off completely.
It's down.
All right.
It's down.
Okay.
It's down.
You're welcome.
I greet you. I like you for.
Good afternoon, sir.
I greet you. Alabalapa is my name.
Oh, okay.
welcome.
Yes, from
Issue from Ojo in Lagos. Yes. First of all, the tax net, cyber security tax. I think it's kind of a new sentence or words or an island to Nigeria economy. Are you getting my point?
Yeah,
I want to appeal to President Bola Tinubu. What are we going to use to campaign in 2027? I'm expecting by now we should be buying rice 10,000 naira, 12,000. There's money in Nigeria. Tinubu and the National Assembly, who are APC member, can make the sacrifices. Look at the fear that the Buhari is afraid of death. It's about I should be collecting money from Nigeria now. Would they be suffering more? That's why some of us are looking Buhari as someone that cannot look inward. Look, I want to appeal to President Bola Tinubu. We are talking as an APC member. I'm talking as an APC member. I want to appeal to him. He should mellow down. Things are not rosy for Nigerians. Nigerians are not happy. Let them be eating. Look, just yesterday in my house, they brought 24,000 naira a bill for just a month. And I can just count maybe 7 or 8 days that we just used light in the last month. And they brought 24,000 naira. Removing 24,000 naira from my salary. I will eat. Wife is dead. Mother is dead.
How much do you have left?
Look at this. So I want to beg President Bola Tinubu. 2027 is around the corner. Most of these people that look at that man now that ended talking with Yoruba. I believe that man is part of those people that voted for Bola Tinubu. Is it not -1 +1? These are things that we need to look in place. And our leaders are also there. They are not even helping this man to even bring something down. So it's possible for some senator, House of Rep, to okay, let me buy this thing and be selling it at the cheaper rate. It's very unfortunate.
Thank you.
And the issue of Rivers State, I think I would disagree with you to some length. Wike will win this war. Let me tell you, Wike has network both in rivers and outside rivers. Don't forget, why former governor of Edo State won that war was because Buhari silent on that issue. This president Bola Tinubu will never supported Fubara. Are you telling me now that 27 lawmakers will not pay their salary and Tinubu will not withhold River State money? Let me tell you something. I'm not seeing Fubara winning this war.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alaba. Thank you.
He should mellow down.
Thank you.
Buhari, not Buhari on the seat. It's Tinubu on the seat.
Mr. Alaba, thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon. Aside Fuad, are you not worried
That
war, battle, tsunami, crisis, chaos in a government that had not spent 1 year in office, survivor, political survivor, suicide, these are words that have characterized the last 11 months with governance and leadership in Rivers State? How did we get to this point, Side Fuad?
It's just the fact that we don't have a people who can make that ultimate sacrifice, to make governance about the people, not just about their own personal interests. Because until we begin to have leaders who are going to be able to give that sacrifice, who understand that leadership is about the people, and when you spend your time, do your best and leave the rest. Let the other people take over and also do their best. They want to remain perpetually in power. They want to run government by proxy. They build structures that nobody begged them to build. If you continue to have those kinds of leaders, we'll continue to have this. You see, you are just talking about Rivers because, again, I think it's been consistent in the news. Other states
exactly.
So that one is also there. If I don't be saying
a new prosperous to our call, perhaps you understood that the